This is the 2019 Subaru Levorg 2.0 GTS. For you motor enthusiasts out there, it does look like the WRX because it's using the same platform, just in a wagon form. This 2019, a lot of people have been buying SUVs and crossovers, and rightfully so, because it is a lot more practical, especially when you consider the space inside and then the ride height. But for people like us, we do want to enjoy driving as well, even on the twisties, every chance we get. So, before we get into that, let us discuss the different things inside here that can win your wife's approval. One of the biggest things you can tell your wife about this car is that this is probably one of the safest cars you could be in. One of the reasons being the Subaru EyeSight. It's basically a camera system, in this one there are three, that sees what's in front of you. And from the information it gathers, it can predict collisions. And with that, when it's pretty close, from pre-collision warning, it can actually mitigate it by braking. It also has a cruise control system that's so sophisticated, and I've tried this myself, that you can drive EDSA without even touching the pedal. If that isn't enough, you can tell her that this uses a symmetrical all-wheel drive system, which means that this car is perfectly balanced and it is powered on all four wheels in such a way that it makes sure that you get good power delivery, but at the same time, if the road becomes slippery all of a sudden, it becomes rough all of a sudden, it becomes sandy all of a sudden, the car will make sure that you're in control the whole time. Another thing you can tell your wife is that this car can fit 4 comfortably and 5 if you're really pushing it. But see, even with the seat far back, a big guy, can actually fit here comfortably. And for those gadget freaks out there, or for those kids who stuck in their smartphones all day, there's actually a charging port here at the front, 2.1 milliamperes, so it's a fast charging type. The other thing you can tell your wife is that this is very practical, just as practical as the crossover she's also looking at. On its own, with the 4 passengers inside, you can actually see that it has a healthy amount of trunk space to begin with. But if you really need to put long stuff or big stuff or a lot of stuff at the back, you can always fold the seats down. If your wife's into gadgets and gizmos, she might fit the bill in this car because it has an infotainment system that has Bluetooth connectivity, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay if she's using the iPhone. Now that's out of the way, let me tell you why this is the car that you want to be driving. For one, this is a WRX in wagon clothing. It may look practical, but this drives almost just as good as the WRX. Because on this 2.0-liter turbocharged engine, it has 265 brake horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. And for your Newton-meter guys out there, that's 350 Newton meters. When you include that and the symmetrical all-wheel drive system this has, it drives like the WRX when you get the chance. And for you turbo fans out there, you can actually change the menu here that shows like the turbo boost, the oil temp, the average, and you can even see the forces, the angle you're at and the forces, and if the traction control's on or off. It's really fun to drive. Like, this car is such a joy to drive if you ask me. And yeah, like the steering's it's a tad bit lighter than the WRX, and the suspension as well. But I think it makes for a great everyday car. So it's like, okay, we're gonna have to compromise. We're gonna make it feel a little less sporty, but it speaks volumes when you drive it every day, which I think it was a good bargain on Subaru's part. Whatever the case may be, the Subaru Levorg 2.0 GTS is like the perfect compromise. Even for me, I find it very practical. I can put all my gear at the back. I can let my passengers sit without, worrying about space. And then when I get the chance, I can drive this like a sporty sedan, thanks to the symmetrical all-wheel drive and an engine it shares with the WRX. How cool is that, right? I can't say enough about this car. This is like the Goldilocks of cars, one of the few, I'd say. So, what can I say about this car? For the wife, it's basically the crossover she's been thinking of getting, with the trunk space, the rear passenger seat, and the infotainment system it comes with. You know that if she brings this out for groceries or for trips to her friend's place, you know she's gonna enjoy the car. And for you, this is essentially a WRX. So your motor enthusiast fantasies in your heart will be very filled with a car like this.